Hey, welcome to Common Comic Covers, an appreciation podcast for non-key comics. I'm Jeremy,
I'm Andy.
and welcome everybody in the comic book world. Andy, are you jet lagged from flying up from California?
No, but boy, my arms are tired.
Perfect. Andy, you just spent 2-3 magical days in the happiest place on Earth. What's it called? The happiest place in the world?
Yes, I went to Disneyland, and we did 2 days. We did Disneyland and Magic Kingdom. Yeah, it was fun. It was, nobody went to the hospital. Had no new illnesses crop up, so it's a big win and as a parent. Like, hey, we made it.
Yeah, no, that's a huge hurdle, I guess, that you didn't have to jump. My family and my 3 kids and my wife went to Disneyland this last summer, and my daughter had what turned out to be a sprained ankle, but when you go to the emergency room on a Saturday, it's a fractured ankle, and we left for Disneyland on Sunday. So she was in a soft cast, but we did get to cut the line a little bit.
Yeah.
Which was nice. You know, it was funny. When I was in Disneyland, I was looking forward to buying some comic books.
Yeah.
And they don't have them anywhere. I asked one guy, I'm like, hey, I'm looking for some comic books. He's like, well, we got some coloring books. And I was like, yep, I get it.
I found comic books at the Star Wars shop, like by the Millennium Falcon ride, edge of the whatever. They had some in their gift shop, but I don't collect Marvel Star Wars books. So
yeah, we went across the street the next day to California Adventure, and by the Guardians of the Galaxy, they had 10 current issues for sale. Like nothing like I'm going to remember that I bought this at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Okay, should we get going?
Yeah. Okay, let's do it. Let's do that. Yeah.
No, did you want to talk more about Disneyland? I'm sure.
Oh no, I wanted to go to a comic book store in LA, but ended up just not being. I'll have a chance to do it. So.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it's okay.
Hey, Andy, Common Comic Covers is the name of the show. What do you have this week?
Yeah, I have a book I bought like 3 weeks ago, and I finally am able to. Got back from vacation and then got it delivered. This is The Fly #3, and it is. When I was perusing, I was like, "Oh man, I've seen this cover before, and I've always really liked it." But this is a cover by Joe Simon, who was part of the tandem Simon and Kirby, who brought us Captain America and several other ones. But Joe Simon created The Fly, and actually Jack Kirby and Joe Simon worked on this title till issue 4, I think, and then they decided to leave. But Joe Simon's awesome. I got a new pointer from my dad. I love the shadow. I love the gun. I love the lifting his hand up like that.
Is that a back scratcher?
No, but it's a pointer, specifically a pointer. My dad watched our videos and was like, I'm gonna get you a pointer stick. So
I'm gonna call it your wand.
My wand, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you can say hi, Dad. Hi, Dad. So Joe Simon lived from he was born in 1913 and died in 2011. So almost 100 years. Was that? Yeah. Okay. So he does the pencils and scripts. Jack Davis did some work. Bob Powell and Paul Reinman. And Paul Reinman is somebody who did a lot of inking for Kirby. So like a lot of the big Silver Age Marvels, Paul Reinman did the inking for. But not an expensive comic book. It's from 1959. This is a 4.5, and I think I spent 30 something bucks plus shipping and tax. So, oh, you're on mute, Jeremy.
There I am. Sorry.
That's okay.
I was I needed to be on mute. I know I think Steranko did the next series of The Fly. It would have been in the 80s when all the other publishers were I don't remember what publisher it was, but when everyone was competing, someone re-released The Fly, and I think Steranko did the first 2 covers. So kind of keeping with that, awesome. I mean, this is a beautiful cover.
Yeah, it's a really pretty cover. This is Red Circle, which is an imprint of Archie Comics. Published it. Yeah. What do you got? What's your common comic cover?
Yeah, I'm excited about this. I want a drum roll.
Okay.
Slide it over.
Ooh.
Let me try to get the glare off a little bit here.
Yeah.
So that's about as good as I'm going to get right there. But this is Amazing Ghost Stories number 16. This is a pre-code horror. And what is awesome about this, it is a Matt Baker cover. It is my first, and as of right now, my last Matt Baker cover. But Matt Baker's obviously known for his good girl art. I don't think this doesn't necessarily qualify as that, but it's a beautiful cover. 1954 St. John Comics. It's a 10 center. There were 3 issues of Amazing Ghost Stories. This is the 3rd and final. So it's 14, 15, and 16, but 1 through 13 was called Nightmare Comics.
Oh.
And those are spectacular and expensive. This was pretty reasonable. I'm not going to take it out of the bag and board. It's pretty brittle. It's a full spine split. If you don't know what that means the front and the back cover are completely detached from the rest of the book, but it is complete. There's no water damage. I made an offer, but then shipping, tax, I paid about $150 for this, which I thought was pretty reasonable for a Matt Baker 1954. And obviously Matt Baker's pretty popular. In this, there's stories. There's a handful of stories, but Joe Kubert does a story. Carmen Infantino is in this book, and George Tuska, to name a few. Why you should have this book? Well, I think if you're a comic book collector, you want Golden Age, you like Matt Baker, this is a great, trying to find those non-good girl art Matt Baker covers it's a bit of a treasure hunt to do that. But, if this was a good girl book, I wouldn't have been able to afford it.
Now, not to get super personal, Jeremy, but this is what, our fans have come to desire is, is this the most you've ever paid for a comic book?
Let me think. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking. Yeah, this is probably, if it's not the most, it's up there.
Yeah.
With the most that I've ever paid. But I don't know, you kind of got me thinking of, instead of buying collectible books, like this is obviously collectible, but I wanted this. I want a Matt Baker comic book.
Yeah.
More than I want the first appearance of Ra's al Ghul. Like I want that, but this to me is more fun. I forgot to look. I think there's only a handful on the census of this one.
Yeah. I mean, more rare than Batman 232 or.
Yeah, there's wide variety of range, but yeah, Batman 232 is available. So anyway, that's my common cover. I'm sticking to it. Andy, what are you buying? What are you reading? What are you taking out of your kids' comic book collection?
Yeah. What am I using my kids' college fund for? So this is also came. I hit the buy button on the mycomicbookshop.com, and I ended up getting a Boy Comics 31, which it's another. I did this mycomicbookshop.com, and I did 4 Golden Age comic books and then 1 modern from the 80s. But this is Charles Biro cover. He does some of the writing, some of the interior. It's from 1946. It's a pretty graphic, bloody scene here. You got blood coming out. Oh, I should be using my pointer here. From the cop that got shot by the it's just kind of a whoa. And Boy Comics started at number 3, and so it's really Boy Comics 28, not 31, but there's Andy, the 28th. Yes.
Tell our viewers, our listeners, what year did this comic book come out? Boy Comics, 1950s, 1940s, 1950s?
Oh, 40, yeah. So the first one came out in 42, and this came out in 46.
So if I'm going and looking at 1942, 1943 Batmans and Supermans, I'm selling my house, but you're buying Boy Comics for less than $100, and it's came out. It's on the same spinner rack as some of the most collectible, sought after books in the world. Explain that to me.
Okay, so I mean, the desirability of Batman is a lot bigger. I do have one Golden Age Batman comic, 43, I think, but I spent $500 on it, and it's a 4.5 like this one, but it's in a CGC case.
You're not answering my question.
Okay.
Why are you buying Boy Comics?
Oh,
and not Batman.
Oh, okay. Well, I can afford Boy Comics, and then I like Charles Biro's art. I think it's fun. I think it's quirky. I've been collecting his crime books, and so I collect this cover artist, and he has some very, very expensive books, but most of his books are not too bad.
So the moral of the story, if you're wanting just to buy old cool books, avoid superheroes.
Yeah, and sexy women on the covers, I think. Yeah, that's another.
Yeah, those are obviously expensive and inappropriate.
Matt Baker covers, yeah. So there are a lot of people that go in. A lot of people go into making one of these books. No one I've heard of before, other than Charles Biro. Lev Gleason publication. It's find a cover that you like. Just go through mycomicbookshop.com. Go through and find one.
I like Iron Jaw, the Iron Jaw kid.
The Iron Jaw. I think he's like yeah. I don't think you mean Crime Buster, the kid that's on top of the car here?
No, the kid,
the guy with the Iron Jaw. Yeah, I don't think he's a kid. Is he a kid?
Well, maybe he's a teenager. Maybe he's in his 20s. Maybe he's 26. I don't know.
I thought it was just like a bad adult villain.
Maybe he is.
Okay, that's all right.
But what's fun? Boy Comics are cheap. Like you can get it's quite a big run, but you can buy a Boy Comic in decent condition for under $10.
Yeah, this was one of the more expensive ones, and it was $50. So
well, Andy, speaking of expensive, I think it's time for either or.
Oh, did you not have a second comic book you wanted to show?
Andy, speaking of expensive, I have another thing I'd like to show.
Okay.
Then I'm excited for either or.
Okay.
This is a big deal. So sorry. So what I'm reading.
Yes.
And I'm on my second volume of this. It's not a comic book, but it is something about comic books. So this is, and you don't really need to see it that well, but this is American Comic Book Chronicles. This is the 1970s, 7 volumes total for the American Comic Book Chronicles, 1940 to 45. So the 40s have 2 volumes. Then there's a 50s. I think there's 2 volumes for the 60s. And then there's 70s, 80s, 90s. I think that's where they're done. It's by Tomorrow's Publishing. If you want to get deep into the nerdy weeds of comic books, you have to read these books. They're not like crazy thick. And each chapter is 1 year of that year of that
Oh my gosh.
decade.
Okay.
It has pictures as it really just kind of goes into what's going on. So I'm in 1973 right now, and it's talking about the Avengers Defenders War. That might have been 72, but kind of the thinking behind that.
Yeah.
So it gets into the industry. It gets into what's being put out there. It gets in. So it's really just an encyclopedia or a history of comic books for each decade. So I'm enjoying it. I haven't really been reading comic books because I've been reading about comic books, and I love it.
Yeah, sometimes the stuff about collecting comic books is very intoxicating. Like, it's fun to read about and learn about comic books, sometimes more than reading a boring comic book.
Well, and of course, as I read, I fill up my shopping cart on my comic book.
Oh yeah. Yeah. This, I need to add that.
I read about so it's funny you mentioned Red Circle. So I was reading about 1972 or 1971 last night, Archie Comics. They put out like this chilling, what was it called? Chilling Adventures of Sorcery with Sabrina. And Sabrina's a teenage witch, but then like the stories were like super dark.
Yeah.
Or as told by Sabrina. So it only lasted 2 issues. Then they took Sabrina out of it, and then they moved it from Archie comic books over to Red Circle. But I went online, and like, it sounds super cool. I can get it for $15.
Nice.
It's early 70s Archie, Sabrina.
That's
horror comic. And it's after the comic. It's after the comic code. 1971 is when they loosened it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So you have some of those fun stories. Okay, speaking of fun stories.
Okay.
I'm ready. Now I'm ready for Either Or.
Okay, so Either Or is a game where I present Jeremy with, if these comic books were the same cost, which one would he buy? And so we have gone through our bracket.
So they're in different grades
to make them the same
to
cost.
make them the same cost. Okay.
Yeah. So
I've confused that before.
Yes. So we're at now the finals. We're at Detective 27, which I'll show, which is the first appearance of Batman. And then we are next. The next one is Detective or Captain America Comics #1. And that's this one here. 2 characters Jeremy loves a lot. And one has somebody punching Hitler. And then the other one is just super iconic. So I don't know, Jeremy, what are you going to pick?
Yeah, I've been thinking of this one for a while now. Since the last time we went, I knew this was coming. We skipped around because it was going to be Captain America versus the first appearance of Wonder Woman on a cover. My instinct wants to say Captain America, but my gut, my intuition says Batman. So that's
what do you say?
I'm going Detective Comics #27, first appearance of Batman. Hard decision, really hard decision, and I would say very close. Tomorrow I might say Captain America. Viewers, help me out. If you're watching this, drop a comment there. What would you take? Would you take the first appearance of Cap or the first appearance of the Dark Knight? How about you, Andy? What would you do?
That's a good question.
Are you surprised that I asked it?
No, I just hadn't thought about it. Albedo 2. No. I think I would pick. Captain America Comics #1.
Ooh.
Because I like the cover better. Even though the Batman Detective 27 is a fantastic cover, I think I like the Captain America comics cover itself a little bit better. But
I don't think you're wrong.
No, I mean it's
It's a beautiful cover. It's sensational.
I don't think there's a wrong answer on this one. So, but yeah.
All right. Well, Andy, now that we've done that, are you ready to go digging for some trash or treasure?
Yeah, I want to go on a blind date with a dollar bin comic book.
Thanks for saying it for me. So I have a couple of freshies here. I just got these this last weekend. Diving into a dollar comic bin. So I'm gonna read the first page or so of each of these books, and Andy's gonna score me on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being amazing. Andy's gonna score the story. So here we go. The first one. Got a bad guy, and then we have two other guys, and it looks like they're standing in a puddle of either goo or they're melting. I'm not sure. So our main person here says, Amazo's power beam has melted the pavement under us. We're trapped in, and with you having lost all your powers, there's no escape from this doom trap. Amazo will kill us both where we stand. And Amazo's getting ready to just pummel them. Amazo says, Professor Ivo programmed my computerized brain to be ruthless. I show you no mercy. Die, enemies, die.
Yeah, okay, so stop. That's enough stopping.
Crash.
Oh my gosh. It was so... the name of the villain, Amazo, is that the real actual?
Yeah.
Okay.
I figured you've never heard of Amazo, so I went with it. I kept it.
Well,
actually, I didn't have to substitute any names in that one.
0.5. That is an incomplete comic book.
0.5.
Yeah.
Wow. How? And
I didn't want to read it.
It wasn't my best work.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you probably did a. I mean, it's hard to look at what you were given.
No, it's not great.
I think
Andy,
5. You personally are probably a 5.
I appreciate that. This is Action Comics 481.
Yeah.
First appearance of the Supermobile.
Oh, that
just sitting in the dollar bin. It's a Kurt Swan
cover. Yeah.
No, it's a Garcia Lopez cover, but Swan does the pencils.
Okay.
It's Bates does the story.
I remember that toy.
Maybe it gets. I know, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it gets better. Maybe Amazo. I've been telling my kids that the robots are listening and they're going to take over one day. So, all right. So that was it was nice to meet you kind of date.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was enough.
Definite trash. 0.5 incomplete. All right. You ready for your next one?
Yeah.
Okay. And I haven't pre-read these, and just so you know, I never do.
Okay.
This entire planet must be destroyed, even if I have to tear it apart, brick by brick. Over my dead body.
Makes sense.
Crashes into him. A little bit of a rumble. Lasers are getting thrown. Here's our bad guy. I don't know why you... Oh, that wasn't the right voice, sorry. Well, I don't know why you want to demolish this place, and I don't really care. I only know I'm going to stop you, even if it kills me. You recover fast, hero. That'll give you that. Hitting anyone with a chunk of pipe like that could knock him cold. But not me. Not when I've got a few tricks up my sleeve like this.
Oh, gosh.
Just like a big power punch kind of thing.
So that higher voice is
what? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What? Changing your body into diamond?
Oh gosh, the amethyst or something.
I know you're wondering how I can do that, so I'll tell you. It's because I'm a mutant with the ability to change my molecular structure at will. Can I stop?
Yes, it's this power pack or some. What? Give
me a score.
Okay. Man, it was not good either. That's a 1.5.
How'd I do? I didn't like the voice I went with the bad guy.
Oh, that was 4.5. That's fine.
Okay, this is Superman. Again, 307. We had a Neil Adams cover.
That's cool. Yeah.
That's why I grabbed it.
Sure. Yeah. Well, those
were $1. And this was written by Conway.
Okay.
Garcia Lopez and Springer are the artists on this. You know, 1970s Superman.
They
weren't good.
I feel really bad for those people that have to write the Superman. Although the All-Star Superman Grant Morrison Quigley run, fantastic.
That was a great run.
Yeah.
That was a great
run. One of the few runs that I collected from beginning to end, was able to do it and had it in my pull, and
Yep, it was a great run. I read it and got rid of it when I had to sell half my comic book collection because I had a second child on the way. And he needed a closet, apparently. Well, Andy, we've gone over our common covers.
Yeah.
We have looked at what we're buying, what we're reading. We settled on Batman. First appearance Batman 1. Shocker. Just comeback Cinderella story.
Yeah.
And then you went on a blind date with two collectible comic books.
No.
First appearance of the Supermobile and a Neil Adams cover. You're buying those. If you're going through $1, if you're going through $1 bin, you're buying those.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
when you open up the cover, it's disappointment.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, folks. Support your local comic book shop.
And as Ringo Starr says, peace, love, peace, love.